Welcome to episode 251 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
I'm back. Not that I ever left, but if I had left, I'd be back.
That's true. I mean, we're both kind of back.
We're both kind of back, yeah.
Because we were here, and then we weren't here, and then we're back.
And then we're back. That is how that works. It's amazing.
We're kind of back every week.
That's fair. I think it's a fair assessment.
We're bringing podcasts back.
Not the sexy, though, and if you've ever actually met us, you know that.
Yeah. Maybe the sexy podcast, though.
Nah, we'll leave that to JT.
The talented...
silky smooth voices.
Franklin, Tennessee native now.
Yeah, I know. Got to start in Memphis.
Right. Calls this place God's country, though. Calls it home. So, welcome home, JT.
I don't think he actually lives in God's country anymore.
Yeah, he just built a house in Franklin. That's what I'm saying. You can just catch him walking down the street.
Oh, I can't.
He's here. He just played some small shindig down there. He's a local.
If it's a shindig, it was definitely small.
Yep. Just a little. I don't think it was impromptu, but a small get together.
A gathering.
Yeah, they sold tickets.
A group of patrons.
Just like that. So this week, we have a lot of news.
Yeah, we do.
And I don't know how long it's going to take to get through. So let's quickly recap what we played.
Go first.
If there's anything worth talking about. Okay. The usual suspects. But then I've played some Super Mario Odyssey.
And?
It's super, 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 super good. It's awesome.
Well, I don't think there was any other expectation, really.
It's so good, though. It's so wacky and Nintendo, and you're like, this is weird, but it feels right. It's great. Believe all the reviews that you read.
So it feels like Mario.
Yeah, but in the best way. It doesn't just feel like they made another Mario game. It feels so new and different, and it's so weird. And so they do some 2D stuff. I'm sure everyone has seen it who's watched a trailer. But kind of where you go onto a wall. And it's one of the prettiest things that I've ever seen. Even running on a Switch, I know it's not as powerful, but Nintendo just, I don't know. They put so much care and love into their games, and it shows. But yeah, well, Mario, I think it's important to note that they put a lot of love and care into their properties, not always their games. Like the Mario, obviously. Zelda. I mean, everything they make, they put love into.
To a point, I suppose. They've had some real shit shows.
I don't know. I feel like their games, for the most part, are pretty quality.
Well, quality and shit shows are two different things. A good game is not necessarily a shit show of a game.
What have they made that's a shit show?
I didn't like Mario RPG.
Yeah, I think that was different and good, but that's also really old.
It was not... Okay, well, just because Nintendo's old doesn't mean that a game that they did 20 years ago doesn't qualify.
Right, but if you put out games every year and you have to go back 20 years to find a shit show, you're doing pretty good.
Well, I mean, that's true, but I'm just...
we could both grab you a handful of shit shows from Sony and Xbox that are less than a year old.
Oh, yeah, we could. You're absolutely right.
I think, regardless of where anyone stands on Nintendo, they make the best first-party games, quality-wise. And I think they make some of the most fun games. But their games are superb when they come out. They're tested, they're pretty, they run smooth.
Not a lot of glitches. Not a lot of glitches and such.
Yeah, they make very good games, and Mario Odyssey is 100% worth the $60 price tag, and it's Nintendo, so it's probably not going to go on sale anytime soon, but don't hesitate to spend that money on it. It's worth it.
Good to know.
Played
what
that, and then Rocket League double drop right this weekend, so I've been playing a lot of that, and then Fortnite Battle Royale mode. Been played a ton of this. I streamed it, the first stream for November of me trying to capture my first win. Special guest Marshall 205 on there. So if you've heard us talk about him, he finally joined us for something. And
I wasn't in for that, but
right,
he joined you.
I won't give away everything. I'll tell you it doesn't happen in that video though.
Gotcha.
It's worth watching, but the victory doesn't happen. So we kind of went back and forth on Twitter yesterday about playing a little bit today, but actually a bunch of us got on last night.
And played
some more Battle Royale. You were on, Thomas was on, Howard was on, Hoffenshow was on. Obviously not all at the same time, but we were in and out, so it was up and down night. The very first solo I played yesterday by myself before anyone else got on, I finished second in.
Mm-hmm.
Very discouraging. But that's just the way it had been going for me. So we're playing last night, and it ends up it was me, Marshall 205, and Thomas. And we weren't succeeding. We weren't doing that great. We took a quick break, and when we came back, Howard wasn't ready. So me and Thomas fired up a duo. He had just won in single in the solo, so I was a little jealous. We fire up a duo, and we made the victory happen.
So you finally got your first win.
Finally got my umbrella. All the pressure is off. We won in duos. Now, here's what I want to say. There's some controversy with this win.
Okay. Controversy for who?
So Howard is alleging that I rode the coattails of Thomas to my victory and that it shouldn't count.
You know what? No. Okay, here's the problem. A victory is a victory. If you are in the Super Bowl and you are a third string kicker and you don't ever get off the bench, you get a ring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I'm in your camp here, but I also want to point out some things.
Okay.
Even if I had gone by coattails, that would be fine. But that's not what happened here. Shots were fired. I killed a gentleman. I brought Thomas back from his knees when he was downed.
Right. So even though he finished with that last kill, he got that last kill for you.
He did get the last kill, but this was a team exercise.
And gave you that win. But if you would not have had the wherewithal to kill the person who killed him and bring him back to life, he would not have been available to do what he did to give you the win. So yes, Bingo. I'm going team effort there. I'm not in Howard's camp with this.
Now, here's the ultimate. I've got video evidence of this win that I'm going to be posting on youtube.com/Gamestitch.
Okay.
I want everyone to go watch and let me know what you think, because this feels like a real team win. Now, I will tell you, Thomas doesn't have audio, which is a shame because we were communicating, some of the best communication I've ever seen in Fortnite.
Okay.
We were calling out positions and where to move to, and we were marking things on the map, and it was very fluid and tactical.
Okay.
But you're only going to hear one side of that because his audio didn't record. But
which
it was an after the thought.
And there's two ways to look at that, because we've talked with him before in chat, and there's two ways to look at it. One is that it's unfortunate because because you guys did had such a tactical conversation and were very capable of strategy. It's also kind of a good thing because there's some shit that comes out of Thomas's mouth.
Well, so I'll just say
like
this.
mine,
I wasn't
just like yours.
I wasn't actually recording.
Right, you just pulled it from because you have your setup to record 60 minutes.
Right. So I'm actually really glad his audio wasn't there because I don't feel right. Like, if I'm streaming and someone else is on, like, they know plenty ahead of time. We've made it clear. We've talked about it. Like, I don't want to record anybody without their knowledge.
Right.
So even though I told him, hey, I have the video clip, but your audio's not in it, and he was kind of like, dang. But, it just feels better to me to not just be randomly recording audio of people.
Mm-hmm.
for those that don't know, on PS4, though, there is a setting to allow your audio to be included on recordings. Just keep that unchecked if you worry about that kind of thing.
Yes.
But that was
very easy
that was
to
something
do.
that was he really did do all the heavy lifting at the end. But it was a team effort, no matter what Howard says.
You had to carry him first. Yeah, Howard's wrong. Howard's just upset because he had that win over you.
Mm-hmm.
And
we took that away from him.
And he doesn't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it.
So it was a lot of fun. We still need to get a win for you and for Hoffen Show.
I do still need a win. I'm not as concerned with a win as you guys are. I like just the experience of it. I don't need to win.
I think my problem is how close I was getting. Like, if I constantly was going out high, I don't think I would have ever cared. But those seconds were killing me.
And I understand that. I think more of it was that Matt got a win. Howard got a win. And if you are in competition with any two people, it's probably them.
I don't know that I care that Matt did it so much, because we weren't playing together or anything like that. But I play with Howard almost every night.
Right.
And he stumbled his way through a win without providing you any credit. And I just didn't like the way it went down. I didn't think it was right, and I feel like I vindicated that. The way that he gloated.
Oh, okay.
The potential luck that had to happen in order for him to win.
I was the guardian angel on his shoulder. You're right. Mm-hmm. I did offer guidance,
and I've constantly reminded him of such.
And he did finally come back and say, "Yes, I do have to give you the credit for that." Yes, you.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have been prompted like that. That should have been natural. He should have said, "Look, I want to thank everyone who made this possible."
That's fair.
my ISP, obviously Dan. Sony, Epic. He should have just really thanked everyone, and he didn't. So
fair enough.
That's where I stand on him. That's what I played this week. Check that video out. It should be up by the time you hear this podcast.
I also played the usual suspects. We played some Rocket League. We played some Fortnite. I did get to finish Before the Storm, Episode 2. Life is Strange Before the Storm, Episode 2. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, it ends on a cliffhanger that completely and utterly is going to change the entire course of Episode 3. I'm super excited to find out what happens. This game has such good writing. Granted, some of the dialogue is a little grown-ups trying to talk like a teenager is always a little weird.
Right.
Grown-ups trying to write as a teenager can be a little weird. It's not horrible. It doesn't take you out of the game at all. And they get the sentiments right, which is probably the most important thing that you have to get for this type of game. You have to get those sentiments. They use music and score brilliantly. It really does evoke the feels. And that last twist it's good. I'm super excited for Episode 3 because I want to see what happens now. It's a great twist. It's honestly probably one you should see coming, but you don't. You might now because I've spoken about it. If you listen to this, you're going to be looking for something. But it's one of those. It's a very simple twist. It's something you probably should see coming, but it doesn't occur to you to even consider it, which to me is a sign of a great story, great characters, and all of that. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you have not checked out Life is Strange, either of them, you can play them in any order. It doesn't matter whether it's the original Life is Strange or Life is Strange Before the Storm. I highly, highly suggest you do it. I feel you're doing yourself an incredible disservice if you don't.
We still liking the episodic model?
I am, and I think I talked about it a little bit last week. I think I even talked about it, just me and you, this week, about how I am, because it's episodic, I am trying to stretch it out a little more. Mm-hmm. But what I find that does is that allows you to absorb. have you ever been through a video game where you like, it's a great game? The Uncharted series has always been like this for me. That's the best example for me. You like the game so much that you plow, and the gameplay is great that you just plow through the game, and then there's aspects of it that you forget about.
I used to be really bad about that, but that's something that I've really tried to change about the way I play games now, is that I don't need to burn through it.
Right. And so you understand what I'm talking about then.
Oh yeah, I did that for years.
Yeah. There's like just those things you miss, and there's like important aspects that you go back and read about it later, and you're like, holy shit, I completely forgot about that. And this wasn't something stupid. It was kind of a thing. So, and I find that the episodic, especially in a game that I love, like the Life is Strange series, I do take my time in it. I stop, I look around, I just breathe everything in. But it also allows me to play it in small sections and absorb what's already happened. So
I just think that episodic, it's timing. Timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
And it's different for every game, but you know, there is an expiration on. I guess my excitement. You know, if it's 2 months between each episode, that may be too long for some things. And
that's what it was.
It may
for
not be
Strange,
for some
and
things.
I don't think that was a problem. What I do think is very, very important with episodic that I don't think you see enough of is that there needs to be a schedule. And,
like I can tell you right now, any game that goes 2 months without the next part, for me, I won't ever play it.
Right, and it is going to be different for people. But it's also going to depend on how much you love that property, how much you love that game.
I shift gears too much. Yeah, I shift gears too much for that to work for me. If I take a week off a game, there's a good chance I'll never even go back to it.
Right. I do think it's important to establish, and really no one's done this yet, I do think that if episodic is going to work and going to be a model that can truly be successful, more so than just these niche style games, a schedule needs to be established up front. The 14th of every month, or every 2 months, every other month on the 14th, we're releasing an episode. We're going to release an episode on the last Friday of every month. Whatever it is, I think that schedule needs to be laid out from the beginning, because I think you see too. Like you said, it's very easy to forget if there's too much time. But if you know and you have it, I don't like the random announcements of, oh, by the way, it's coming out on Thursday. Well, that's great, yeah, but I got a fucking life, and I really want to play that. But unfortunately, it ranks like number 6 on the important things in my life I have to do, maybe lower. So now I put it off. Now I forget about it. Then maybe I finally go back to it. Maybe I don't. So I just think I don't mind the episodic model. I think it needs to be revamped I think scheduling and timing needs to be revamped.
Yeah, I think they don't throw days on it because they're still working on it as it goes. That's why they do episodic. Right.
And I think so too. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. It's working out great for Life is Strange. I like the way it's working out for me. I'm not missing things. I'm taking everything in. I'm able to absorb it. So if you haven't played it, I highly suggest you check it out. Even if you think it might not be your kind of game, I think it's going to give you an experience that maybe you're not used to, and it's going to help you, I think, to look at yourself a little bit, take some notice of yourself. Yeah, check it out.
Did you play anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, let's jump in this meaty news. Remember, if you haven't done so, rate us on iTunes 5 stars, and a peppy review would be nice. It doesn't have to be peppy as long as you 5-star it up. I don't even think you have to type anything. I think you can just give us 5 stars.
5 stars? That's all you got to do?
Yeah, I don't even think you have to comment if it's too much work for you. You can also support us over patreon.com/Gamestitch. You know all this other stuff. I'll tell you about it next week. But we need to dive into the news this week.
Yeah, we need to get on it because there's a metric shit ton. Again, not a true measurement, but go ahead.
For most things that happen in gaming, we're able to get them out fairly quick or really behind. That's the way this podcast works because of when we release and when we record.
Oh, yeah.
So, depending on when it happens, if it's something breaking on Friday or Saturday, we're like the first podcast to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it happens on like a Monday...
On a Monday.
We are the last podcast to get it out.
Yep.
So there's a chance you heard about a lot of the things we're about to talk about, but you haven't heard us talk about them. So we're going to go through some of these maybe fairly quickly. Some of these others I think we'll talk about a little bit, but I'm really talking about Paris Games Week here.
Mm-hmm.
It happened Monday last week. This week, I should say.
Yes.
But last week for when you're listening.
Last Monday.
Yeah, last Monday. Not the Monday you're listening.
Monday, October, whatever the fuck the date was.
That Monday. Monday, October, whatever the fuck.
The last Monday in October.
This happened. And Sony brought the fucking... whatever you want to call it. The load. They brought the load.
Let me just tell you this. It seems like this year Sony pretty much just said, you know what? Fuck E3. Paris Games Week is where we're going to be.
I just think they have so much content that has been in development for so long that they have so much they can show. Yeah. I think most of Sony's shows are going to start being like this.
Because they brought all their guns.
So I'm just gonna kind of flow through these, and then I know we'll have some conversation about some. Because there were so many VR games, I'm actually going to go through the VR separately first, and then we'll talk about the non-VR stuff.
Okay.
Just because I know that doesn't appeal to everyone. They showed off Apex Construct, which is a weird robot animal Starship Troopers. What's the one on Recore? It's got that feel. It is you're in some sort of planet type deal, and you are traveling with it's open world looking. You're traveling with teleportation. I don't know what word I just said.
Teleportation.
But teleportation.
That's the word you said.
I could be president with that kind of shit.
You asked.
You're using teleportation, so it looks okay. Blood and Truth, which looks fucking great.
Yep.
There's a whole write-up here about it. I'll just tell you, to me, it looks like John Wick in VR.
Yep.
You're out for revenge because someone has your family, your ex-Special Forces, and your name is Ryan Marks. But it looks like fucking John Wick.
Yeah, it does look good.
This game looks start to finish like just a intense action movie.
Yep.
And very cool looking. Bow to Blood. This is some sort of weird arena type champion game.
Yep.
With some other stuff mixed in. It looked okay. It wasn't one that super excited me. But it looked alright.
Okay.
Fast forward to Eden Tomorrow. And it's a story-based kind of virtual sci-fi. It looked alright too.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
It looked like there was a lot of production value. I don't know if it's something that necessarily interests me. But I did feel like there was a lot of production value there. Then we've got League of War VR Arena, which, again, didn't do much for me, but it was there. Megalith, which is a pretty cool looking mech game coming out.
Gotta love mechs, especially in VR, right?
I mean, VR is made for things like that.
Right.
We saw some more Moss, which is one we have seen before. It was the one coming out of E3 that a lot of people were excited about, where it was the little mouse.
With the little mouse.
Mm-hmm. So we did get a chance to see a little more of that. We finally got to see Q Games' new offering, which is Pixel Junk VR Dead Hungry, which looks like a zombie version of Diner Dash or Job Simulator. It looks super fun.
Right.
Smash Hit Plunder they showed off, which is a multiplayer game for the VR. Sprint Vector, another VR title. Skyscraper, you're climbing skyscraper height towers and plunging thousands of feet. Looks like a good way to throw up.
Go for it.
And then they showed off Star Child, So on the list here on PlayStation, it lists this as just PS4.
Yeah.
But if you look at the notes, it says it's a PSVR game, and it also says PSVR game on the image. So I'm not sure if this is playable both ways, and that's why it's listed this way.
Right.
But either way,
I don't think it was made clear.
Yeah, it does have some PS4. It is built for PSVR, whether you can play it in or out. But it's also got a sci-fi narrative-driven vibe going on.
Right.
I think that... Oh, the last one, Ultra Wings, which looks super cool. Aerial theme game, obviously, and it looked awesome. It looked like everything I wanted. Like Ace Combat, but silly.
Yes.
And
so that's a pretty large PSVR.
That's robust, some people would say.
Robust.
Yeah, that's way more VR than I would have ever dared imagined or guessed.
Yeah. Me too. I would have never thought that we were going to see that much VR coming out of this convention.
Right.
So.
Yeah, never in a million years would I have guessed they would have showed this much VR off. I was totally shocked by it. Almost overwhelmed by it because I went in expecting almost none.
Remember how I said Odyssey is the game that makes me want to buy now a Switch? Mm-hmm. This show now makes me want a VR. So now I'm back to my conundrum of which one do I get.
Yeah, I thought it was a very smart way to position it. On the heels of it, they also announced a Gran Turismo VR bundle, which I also think is smart because that's a game people want to play with VR, and they just watched all these videos of awesome games. We're going to get into it in a minute, but they're also giving away another VR game for PlayStation Plus. Like, they're doing a lot to position VR as a great value for a lot of people. So that's the VR stuff from Paris Games Week. Some of that was pre-show, some of that was during the show, but it was all kind of wrapped together in one video.
Yeah, it was all there.
Moving on to the non-VR stuff, Concrete Jungle is kind of where they opened the show, and this looked like someone looked at everything I'd ever played and said, how do we make a game for him?
Right, it does. But you know what's funny? Is we talked about it, and I'm just going to let them in. This looks like everything... This is what you said. What you said to me was, in essence, this looks like a game with everything that I have ever wanted in it. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I'm going to play it.
I don't think I said I don't know if I'm going to play it.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I don't think so, because I'm definitely going to play this. Maybe someone else on the chat said it. I think you said you don't know if you're going to play it.
That could be.
Because I would have bought this during the press conference if I could have.
But the more I see it, I think I want it too. I could have sworn you said you weren't sure about it, but
no, it looks like a narrative-driven without speech, like an emotion type game. It looks like it lets you draw without having to be an artist, and it is super, super, super pretty looking.
It looks very pretty.
So it's a Pixel Opus, the people who made Entwined. And they learned a lot from Entwined. They talked about it, but basically they learned that people don't like complicated games. And people want to know what's going on.
That's me.
They seem to have delivered without having played it yet, so it looked very cool. They showed off the Curse of Osiris for Destiny 2. I believe that to be the first time that had been shown off.
Yes, it was.
So people are excited about that. These are in no particular order, so I'm just going to go through them. They showed off a new trailer for Detroit Become Human.
Oof.
It's kind of a rough one.
It is. It's going to make you feel some sort of way. I think it's designed to make you feel some sort of way.
And David Cage has been out there from Quantic Dreams talking about why he chose that. And those interviews are out there, but it does, if you're not comfortable with it, I will tell you that it addresses domestic violence. And
it does.
So when I watched this,
it does it in a very intelligent way.
When I watched this, I thought, this is obviously the worst thing they're going to show at the press conference as far as violence. Not knowing what was coming, but I was like, this is this gets the feels on for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
it makes you feel a certain sort of way.
Yeah, like, playing that game is going to be awesome because if it ends the way that it did in that video, I would be like, fuck no. Like, I'm going to do it again and do it better.
Right. This trailer made me... I was already excited for this. I was already going to play this. This trailer has now put it on my, oh my god, I can't wait for that to come out list.
Yeah, very emotional, and it's... Quantic Dreams has always said, like, if they do it right, they'll make somebody cry. Like, they want people to feel that. This game could totally do that in just this minute and a half trailer.
Yeah. Some shit happens.
Yeah. So very cool.
No doubt.
Erica, the next PlayLink game that's coming out. To me, this is one of the biggest surprises. I was not expecting to see more PlayLink stuff, and I especially wasn't expecting to see a live-action drama that you're controlling basically from your cell phone that appears to also be a gritty, emotional experience.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Like, I'm excited about this. It could... I mean, you've got it's not the Inpatient. Which one is the Hidden Agendas? They got a trivia one out. They got That's You. Like, they're taking PlayLink serious.
That's You. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
And I think Erica's going to be really cool.
It looks really cool.
So I'm interested to see if that works, how that changes the industry, because these games will start flying out if it's successful. Far Cry 5 showed off a co-op trailer that looked like the best white trashiest fun that I've seen in a long time. Yeah,
actually, it triggered one of our listeners so much that he actually made it his shout out this week. Well, he didn't. I made it his shout out this week. But our good friend Thomas says Far Cry 5 co-op looks so dope.
It does look dope.
What I really appreciate is him trying to bring back dope. I'm pretty sure that was gone.
No, I think dope's still. I don't think dope ever left.
Is dope still a thing?
I think
maybe I'm just old.
Yeah, that game looks like everyone's on dope.
Hey, I'm all about dope, so I'm good with the dope.
That trailer is...
If it was gone, thanks for bringing it back.
That trailer is over the top. It's reckless. It looks like the best time you can have.
It looks like it's just going to be fun. This is another game I'm excited for because I've talked about it before. I love the setting. I like the concept. I like the main theme of the movie. Yeah, this is another one I'm super excited for. Co-op just makes it that much better, especially since it's drop in, drop out.
I think this might be where you're confusing Concrete Jungle, because I said nothing but good things about this and said I don't know that I'm going to get it.
That could be.
I was originally said, hey, it looks great. I'm never going to get it. After watching this trailer, I was like, I would like to have it, but I still don't think I'm going to get it. It looks fun. I just know I want to enjoy it. I suck at first-person shooters. I don't have a good time with them. And at its core, it's still that.
It is still that at its core, but I'm not usually a fan. I'll play them, but this one I'm in. I'm all in.
Finally, the wait was over. Not where I expected them to show it, but they finally unveiled Sucker Punch's new game. It is Ghost of Tsushima, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, there is just...
You play a samurai.
Yeah.
Open world...
Open world samurai game. There you go. That's
in
enough.
Feudal Japan. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Whew.
You had me at open world samurai.
It looks awesome, and Sucker Punch does open world really, really well.
Very well.
It's kind of their thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've done... I think what's the last thing they did was Infamous 2, right?
No, they did First Light or Second Son and First Light.
I actually meant Second Son.
Yeah, they did Second Son. Then
I actually meant
First
Second
Light
Son,
is the last thing that they
2.
did, which is the Fetch's standalone.
Yeah, and we had nothing but good things to say about any of that.
Loved Infamous.
As a matter of fact, I think we both platinumed Infamous Second Son.
We got another God of War trailer that shows more daddy-son combat.
Yeah, but it didn't really show anything new. It just kind of reinforced what we already knew.
The game's going to be neat too, I think.
Going in. It is going to be neat.
Kind of a surprise, but I think it makes sense. We saw Guacamelee 2.
Yeah.
Some of their indie offerings. Guacamelee, of course, very popular indie title from Drinkbox.
It is.
We saw Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds, which
Can't wait.
So that's out also.
No, it's not. It doesn't come out till this Tuesday.
Well, the pre-install is out.
Oh, yeah, the pre-install.
Because mine downloaded last night.
You can't do anything.
The 7th, I think, is when it hits.
Yeah.
But if you've pre-ordered it, you can already have it queued up, ready to go. And by the time you hear this, it's a day away. Probably. We're already out.
That's true.
Anyways.
You getting this, Ryan?
Yeah. Mine installed already.
Oh, did you get it? Yeah, mine did too.
But if you played Horizon, you watched this trailer and you didn't want to play more Horizon, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah. It's Horizon. Everyone should play Horizon as far as
I never finished it, but I watched this DLC and I was like, I need to play that right now.
Yeah, probably. Right now, it's probably one of the 3 games probably in my Game of the Year list so far.
Yeah. Then we saw Invector.
Horizon.
Which is not something that I'm going to play, but it's I think it's a music.
Yeah, it's something.
Music-based game. I don't even know much about this.
Me either.
More VR. Loco Roco 2 Remastered, which I think is cool. Monster Hunter World we saw a little more of. Also got the information that PlayStation's going to get the beta December 6th or something like that. Early December.
You're also going to be able to buy armor and that will make you Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Super smart.
As well as some mount I think you have in it. That armor will make it look like one of the mechs, the mechanical dinosaurs, whatever they call them.
It's just super smart.
I can't even remember now. Yeah. It's a great tie-in, too. It fits.
Mm-hmm. This was a total surprise, too. We saw Onrush, which is a new game from Code Masters. And Onrush gave me we talked about the Disney one. Disney had that driving game. God, I can't remember the name of it. I'm blanking out on it right now. They had like an over-the-top racing game. It also has like a split-second vibe, and it has like a MotorStorm vibe.
Split-second, Blur.
Yeah.
One of those games like that.
So it's like wacky, over-the-top, off-road, but it would make sense that it has a MotorStorm vibe because this is Codemasters, and specifically, it's the studio that incorporated, I think it's Manchester maybe, but they scooped up a lot of employees that came over from Avalanche when MotorStorm, obviously, when that studio was shut down. So a lot of ex-MotorStorm devs working on this game. Right. It looks super, super cool.
It does. I know I clued into our good buddy Garrett was asking about Blur ever going to get remastered for new consoles, and I told him to keep an eye on this one. So
yeah,
maybe that'll fill the void.
We saw Shadow of the Colossus again. This game's looking great. There's not much to say about it. It looks super good.
No, you should know Shadow of the Colossus.
Spelunky 2 was announced with nothing really shown. More Spider-Man.
Yeah, more Spider-Man. This game has to come out.
Yeah, it should come out for sure.
I think we're to the point now where, okay, you've shown us enough. I don't think they can afford any more of these delays. It needs to come out.
Hong Kong Massacre. Definitely has like a Hotline Miami thing going for it.
Yep. Great title, to be honest with you.
And then, so I did skip a few things, but I thought those were some highlights. The biggest, and and for definitely took the crown for most violent, even though that I thought that Detroit Become Human pushed the envelope as far as it could go. Mm-hmm. They end the show with The Last of Us Part 2.
Yep.
In what might be the most violent, cringe-worthy video game trailer I've ever seen.
Okay.
And I think it was smart, because I think it changed a lot of people's mind on what this game might even be. And
it definitely got a lot of people talking, not just in a controversial sense, but who are these characters?
Right. You don't see anyone that you know.
Nope.
And it did, but it has sparked a lot of controversy. How violent's too violent? I see Sony people out there defending the trailer, and there's a lot going on with that. And I think that's what you want, because it has everyone talking, it has everyone thinking. Naughty Dog just delivers. There's a lot of people who were worried what this game would be. Did it need a sequel? Bruce Straley left the company, which he already said he wasn't working on Last of Us 2. So there was just a lot of worry, I think, but I just don't think you need to.
No, I think it's important to note, too, a couple things, really. I don't know if you or any of the listeners out there remember this, but I still remember when they showed the first trailer for The Last of Us.
Of course.
And that trailer got the same reaction. Oh, it's so violent. What is this game? Because it had, I think Ellie was helping Joel. He put a hatchet in somebody's head and breaking arms. And it was extremely violent, too. And it really didn't tell you anything about what the game was about. And all of these same things all came up in all the media and everything. And Last of Us was a phenomenal game. I think those trailers give the best representation without giving away information of what the games are. I know we've got the cordyceps and the post-apocalyptic wasteland where we're doing what we can to survive, but very much in the vein of The Walking Dead or any of the Romero movies. These movies are very much about the best and the worst that humanity has to offer, and the hope and despair that comes with that. They're very much commentaries on human society, and that background, that content of the cordyceps and such are really just a device to move that forward. They're just your location. So I get it. Yes, it's super violent. Take a look in the world today. How many people do we know that have we seen or read about that are super violent? I just think these are commentaries on humanity, and we need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. To me, this was definitely pushing the envelope. Even thinking back to that, it was violent for the time, but this is like, if I watched this in a movie, I'd be like, oh my gosh. Like, it gave me that feeling. Same thing as when you see somebody, like, rip someone's tooth out with, like, a pair of pliers or something like that. It gave me that same, like, cringe factor.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to elicit the reaction it did.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, they know what they're doing, but...
Oh, yeah. Naughty Dog's not stupid.
I thought it was a good note to end on. I thought it definitely has sparked everyone's interest in Last of Us 2, which had kind of faded as far as media and conversations about it.
Right. They're definitely back up there.
It's definitely back. So that's pretty much a quick wrap-up of Paris Games Week, but of course, by the time you hear this, that is a week old. But if you want to hear us specifically talk about something more than we just did, podcastgamestitch.com, or hit us up on Twitter @game_stitch, and we can discuss it a little more. Let's shift gears to November's free games. So we'll start with PlayStation Plus.
Sure, pop through these real quick.
I think this is a pretty decent lineup, but we've got Bound.
Yeah, not bad.
Worms Battlegrounds, and Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which is going to be available till January 3rd. Interesting thing here, VR is front and center. Bound has VR support. Until Dawn is obviously a VR game. So you're basically getting two VR games right up top.
Yep.
Dungeon Punks is also crossed by with the Vita. The other Vita game is Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse, Episode 1 and 2. PS3 is going to be seeing R-Type Dimensions and Ragdoll Kung Fu Fist of Plastic.
Yes.
That was a good game. I remember playing that.
Yeah?
It was fun. Stupid, but fun.
And Microsoft, in an odd coincidence, also announced their Games for Gold for November 2017. So what they've got online for the Xbox One is Trackmania Turbo from the 1st to the 30th of November. Tales from the Borderlands, November 16th to December 15th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but I think that's all 5 episodes?
Yeah, it's the complete.
It's a complete thing. All 5 episodes. And the Turing Test, which, from when you're listening to this until November 15th, essentially from the 1st to the 15th. And the Xbox 360 has Nights into Dreams, which is good from November 1st to the 15th. And Deadfall Adventures from November 16th to the 30th. So, all in all, I'd say both of these have some pretty decent lineups.
Strong lineup from Microsoft also. It's almost like they know what each other are going to do.
Almost. Yeah, it is odd. They complement each other well.
I'm sure it's not a mistake. You see that a lot of months when we go over these, that the games are...
shit.
Not shit, but like if they're shit on one, they're shit on the other, but they're different shit. If they're good on one, they're good on the other, but they're different. I just think they obviously have an idea of what the other's going to do, and they try to, no matter who's doing it, they try to shift to make sure that their lineups are strong when the other one's going to have a strong lineup.
Yeah.
Fortnite Battle Royale. It just passed 800,000 concurrent users.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. I know it doesn't sound much when we talk about what Battle Royale or PubG was doing, but
right, it doesn't.
It's a start, and it's on, I'd say, a bulk of the play coming from consoles.
Oh, I would too.
So I think this is interesting. I think Battle Royale is not going away. They added the cosmetic stuff to it. They're obviously continuing to build this game. And
as a matter of fact, I think they're getting ready to upgrade for the servers because
that's a lot of people.
All of those concurrent players are starting to putting some pressure on. So
I think this is good, and I think Epic needed a win.
And I think they got one.
I think they're going to pour every resource they have into making sure that it stays that way. I'm excited for Fortnite. We were early adopters to the game itself, but I'm excited for this Battle Royale mode and the player base it's bringing over to the normal game.
Yeah, the regular mode is the mode that was another game that I have to keep saying to myself I need to get back into and never do. So maybe one day I will. I just need to take a month off of work and just play video games.
Hot take that the microtransactions, or they're not micro in this case, but the cosmetics that you want to purchase for Battle Royale, those coins can be earned free by playing the regular game, which is not currently free.
Right.
So that's how they get you. You can either pay more money than that stuff is worth, or you can play the normal game.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, Howard spent real money on it last night.
Now,
yeah, he spent real money on it.
I'm in your camp on this. We discussed it last night. I kind of see his point how it's not real money, but in reality, it's real money.
Right.
Sorry, Howard.
Yeah, he redeemed a gift that he had, and he got a gift card for PlayStation Network with it.
And then he
spent it on
bought
V-Bucks, which is the currency inside Fortnite. Sticking with the Battle Royale, PubG finally got a release date for Xbox One. It's going to be December 12th, and it's $30.
I don't think that's a bad price.
I think that's a great price. Beginning that day, Xbox One players will be able to play PubG via Xbox's game preview program. Bluehole also said it's on track to release 1.0 PC version in late December, because remember, that game's still in early access.
Right.
So it's exciting. They said both games have separate roadmaps, so they're not progressing at the same time. But it'll be interesting to see what happens to that player base on Xbox One, since Fortnite had a head start and is catching people's interest.
People do like it.
It'll
be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to see people. So many people have heard of PUBG and haven't been able to play it on the Xbox, PS4, or whatever. I think they're going to try it just out of notoriety alone, from recognizing the name. And I think that's when the real battle is going to begin, because then it's going to come down to who's the better game. Mm-hmm. What's the game people enjoy more? I don't think we have a fair comparison on that right now. I don't think we do until they're all available to the same group of people.
Well,
so it's going to be interesting to see what happens, at the beginning of January and such. When I think the month of January is really going to tell us something about which one of these games is the quote-unquote winner.
Well, they're very different. They also are very similar. I think there's a world in which you could maybe even play both, but I think it would not last.
Right.
So the war will begin, I would say, in December. Xbox One is getting officially licensed NFL controllers, and they are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
So using the Xbox Design Lab, you can now throw team logos on your controllers. The sad news here is it does not incorporate all the other things you can do in Design Lab. You're very limited on what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Off for the low price of
$80.
Yeah.
No. Excuse me. $95.
$95.
The normal Design Lab's $80. Extra $6 to add the rubberized grip to the back. You can also engrave your gamer tag for free as long as it's less than 16 digits. I didn't include a picture here, but in what was shown, they were all white, and it was simply a large team logo on the right side and a small team logo up by your buttons.
Yep, that's what I saw.
They look okay. I'm sure, someone like Garrett, who's such a giant fan of the Dolphins, might want to spend the $95 to get one of these. I looked at the Titans one, and I thought I'd like to have that, but I'm just not going to spend that much money.
Right. Same thing. I'm not
Get these things down to $65, and I'll scoop one up. But the problem is they've got to pay the NFL so much money for everything.
Exactly.
PC story. This is weird. We almost never do this. StarCraft.
This is a big kind of a big deal.
It is, but it's been a long time. StarCraft 2 is going to become free to play. It's a 7-year-old game. So that doesn't sound crazy, but it's still one of Blizzard's most popular and successful titles, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
They announced it during BlizzCon. Beginning November 14th, PC players will be able to play through the entirety of StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty campaign for free. They will also be able to access the ranked multiplayer ladder. In order to unlock it, you have to earn 10 first wins of the day in unranked or versus. If you've already purchased Wings of Liberty, then as a free gift, they're going to give existing players the game's Heart of Swarm expansion for free.
That's pretty cool.
Back to the console stuff, and now we're going to take a Nintendo pivot. Mario Odyssey becomes the fastest-selling Mario game ever in the U.S. and Europe, topping 2 million sales in the first 3 days worldwide.
That's fucking crazy. It's expected, though, with Nintendo, especially with Mario.
Mm-hmm. This is not a story I pulled.
I don't...
But Nintendo expects to outsell the Wii U this year with the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So by end of fiscal year, which is March, they expect to have outsold the Wii U in just 1 year.
Crazy.
I'm telling you, Mario's good, and it makes sense. So the previous best-selling was New Super Mario Bros. For the Wii, which released in 2009. I saved the biggest, best story for last this week. I rearranged these several times. I'm like, do I want to lead off with this? Do I want to put, where do I want this?
Nope, save it for last.
Yeah, I wanted a good palate cleanser, I wanted everyone to leave and feel good about how their day went. Rocket League for the Switch finally has a date, and oh boy, it's soon. It's real.
Like November 14th.
November 14th. It's $20. You get the Mario cars. I can't freaking wait. The only part of this story that I wasn't super pumped about is it is digital only right now.
Mm-hmm.
They did come out and say they don't have a plan for a physical copy right now. Man, I can't wait.
This is what it is, right? Why don't you just wait for the physical copy?
Can't do it.
Because you need those cars. I get it.
Do it. Well, not just that. How much better can my skills be when I'm playing even more Rocket League? I spoke about it before. My Switch time does not interfere with my PS4 time. They're separate times.
Right.
So I have the ability...
So it's going to be all Rocket League all the time.
It potentially could be, yes. And that sounds like a world I want to live in.
It's not a bad place to be.
So excited about this. We knew it was this year. We didn't know when. I think it's a smart time to come out. And, whew, I'm ready. I'm ready right now for this.
I'm sure you
Mario
are.
Be damned. Give me some Rocket League. On my hands. In my hands all the time. I do wonder how hard it'll be to play in handheld mode, and I wonder if I'm going to be forced to use the Pro Controller for it to be comfortable for me.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know.
I'm excited.
I'm curious about that,
We blitzed through that news right there.
Well, I don't know if we blitzed through it. It took us an hour.
I mean, we probably had 15 minutes of chit-chat, and then that was a lot of news stories for 45 minutes.
I don't think it was 15. I don't think it was 15 minutes.
I mean, you never think that what I think is right, though.
I think it was like 7.
It's probably 10 minutes, though, and you got to remember this recording was going 5 minutes before we started.
Okay.
So, I'm still sticking with 15 minutes.
It's still not 15 minutes of chit-chat.
It's 15 minutes. They're not going to hear 15 minutes, but there's 5 minutes of chit-chat before.
I'm not arguing semantics with you. You're right. I'm wrong. You're pretty. I'm ugly. Right. You're smart. I'm
glad
stupid.
We could finally establish that after 251 episodes.
Well, that's how I have to just end conversations with, or end arguments with Matt too.
Right.
So.
That's fine.
I know.
Now it's time.
I'm aware.
Forgotten but not forgotten, where we reach back in our gaming past. We tell you all about something we love that you should probably love. This week, you probably shouldn't love it, but I did love it. So I wanted to talk about it. I don't expect anyone to watch this or go back and play this. But I hate that it's completely forgotten. Mine's coming. So you sparked me last week when you talked about the Virtual Boy.
Uh-huh.
And I got to thinking about my experience with the Virtual Boy. And I remembered Wario Land. And how much fun I had with Wario Land, and how, you know, this is what I was talking about with Nintendo. Like, they constantly do the same thing, but they do reinvent it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Wario Land was the platformer for the Virtual Boy. Came out November 27th, 1995. It looked like crap because it was all red, just like everything that you played in the Virtual Boy, but it was unique. It was an interesting take on a platformer for Nintendo. And I really had a blast with it as a kid. And it's one of those things that I went back and played when I got my Virtual Boy now, and still think it was pretty damn cool. So,
all right.
Don't watch a video of it. It's all red, makes you want to throw up. You don't understand. If you have a Virtual Boy and you have this game, you've already played
there.
But that's my gone but not forgotten. Wario Land for the Virtual Boy.
That's a very interesting one.
Yeah, I think probably most people did not play this game and never will.
Right.
It's all right.
Well, as long as we're talking about GBNF, actually Garrett sent us Gone But Not Forgotten for himself. Actually, he sent 2. Same series, though. Something probably sparked in him last week when we talked about Visceral, with Visceral closing down. So he's Gone But Not Forgotten is Dead Space and Dead Space 2, which solid picks.
Very solid picks.
Very solid picks. I think Dead Space very easily does get forgotten, actually, to be honest with you. Dead Space 2 and 3 were a little, maybe not so much, but I think the first one really does for how simple it really was. It was aliens on a spaceship. That's it.
That game was creepy in a way that a lot of games weren't doing then.
Right. It kind of... It kind of sprung off of the Resident Evil survival horror thing, but it did it much more effectively to me. It wasn't about the jump scares, which there were some of, don't get me wrong, but it was more about just creating this creepy environment for you to be in where you were uncomfortable the whole time. And the first Dead Space did that so well. So well.
Yeah, I just think as that survival horror genre got thrown around, a lot of those games pivoted to action games.
They did.
And this firmly planted itself in that survival horror realm, and I thought it was very unsettling and smart and good, and it's a great pick.
And 2 and 3 actually did start going more of the action route.
Yeah, I thought 3 just stepped all the way into the action game.
Completely.
Mm-hmm.
But Dead Space, the whole game was just so uncomfortable for all 8 hours of it, 8 to 10 hours of it. You're uncomfortable the whole time. You can't look away, you can't stop playing, but you want to so bad. Just a really good job done on it. Really good job by everybody involved. Mm-hmm. So that's Garrett's Dead Space and Dead Space 2.
Remember, if you have a Gone But Not Forgotten for us, make sure you hit us up, podcast at Gamestitch.com, or on Twitter using the hashtag GBNF. Solid picks, Garrett.
Very solid picks. We actually have some questions this week.
Okay.
So I'm going to go for those before we start getting to shout-outs and closing out the show. Otherwise, I'll forget, and I don't want to do that because I love you guys. I'm thinking of you. I'm here for you. Actually, it's actually Garrett again. Garrett was pretty active this week. He's got a couple questions. His first one was Mud Runners is fun. Anything else like it for console, or will we get it? I'm not super familiar with Mud Runners, are you?
No.
I don't think it's on console. I think it's just a PC game. Or maybe it's on Xbox. I can't remember. But it kind of ties into another question he had asked, too. I'm actually going to look
this up.
No,
Mud Runners is only on Steam right now.
It's only on Steam. Okay. I thought so. He wanted to know if we were getting something like this on console. Anything is possible, Garrett. If you like it, tell people about it. Have them get on Steam. I'm sure you know plenty of people that get on Steam. Have them get on it, download it, play it, try it. That's how, the better those games do, the better chance they have of coming to the consoles. And you're right, Mud Runners definitely looks different. It very much looks like a mud bog simulator.
It might be coming. I see a video here that says 15 minutes of it running on Xbox One, PS4.
Yeah, so it might be coming. So I don't know. I think when he asked, will we get it? I think I wrote it down wrong, actually. I think he meant if he's asking if you or I are going to get it.
Oh, I will 100% get this.
I will. I don't know. I'm on the fence on it. I'll have to learn more about it and find out.
It doesn't even look like a mud bog. It's a giant open world that you just drive through.
Drive around. Yeah, so that seems interesting. And kind of tying along with that, he asks, where is the trucker sim for console?
That's a good point.
That I will play, and I hope it's coming, because they do have it for PC and Steam right now. There is a American Trucker. I think it's American Trucker Simulation.
There's several of those.
But yeah, I am a firm believer that we need one on console, because that I will play. I find it interesting that you want one, Garrett, because I'm pretty sure that's your vocation. I don't know if that was my job, my career, if I would want to do that in my spare time so much. But
I can't stop watching this Mud Runners thing.
The Mud Runners looks good, doesn't it? It's incredible. So, and the best part is the full name is Spin Tires Mud Runner. Spin Tires Mud Runner.
Dynamic day and night, real water currents. You have to get vehicles out that are stuck.
Yep.
It looks incredible.
It looks good. It's got the monster truck with the big old... Is that like the first one they show? That monster truck with the big tires?
No, it's a blue Jeep in the one I'm watching.
Okay. Is that the one that's trying to climb up the hill?
Yeah, at the end he
sideways?
pulls the Jeep out of the water using different like machines.
Yeah. Yeah, like different winches and stuff.
That thing is crazy.
So yeah, that looks good. So yeah, I hope that helped. I want the American Trucker Sim because I'll play the shit out of it, and Ryan will definitely get it. More than likely, I may end up getting it. I don't know. I'm probably not as into it as Ryan will be or you will be, but that doesn't mean I won't get it and give it a shot because those are just the kind of poor decisions I make.
You can simulate any task for me, and I'll probably like it as long as it's ultra realistic.
Yes, right.
This looks incredible. If I was more active on Twitter, I would have already known that.
You would have.
This is the first I've heard of it.
See what happens.
It's fine. Now it's time for...
So, Garrett, I hope that helped to answer your questions.
Now it's time for shout-outs.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Trying to do shout-outs. We don't have video this week. If you're wondering, you feel like we've talked over each other a little more, we probably have. We don't have video to see each other.
We're not going with video this week. We're trying something different. We're always experimenting here. We're always trying to make things better, smoother, faster, stronger. We're trying to create the super soldier of podcasts. So we're always making small changes to the chemical composition.
So shout-outs. You already did Thomas's earlier.
I did Thomas's. I also have Garrett's here. This is not specifically a shout-out, but I'm making it his shout-out. His shout-out is, and this comes, keep a note, this comes right after the Paris Games Week. Xbox, you're losing a huge fan and supporter. PlayStation is killing it.
It's true. I mean, not about the losing part, I don't know about that, but they are crushing it.
Yeah. I mean, as far as if he's losing a huge fan and supporter, that's a personal thing between you and Microsoft. But PlayStation is definitely killing it.
What's crazy is that they've got
Microsoft.
The PlayStation.
I agree that Microsoft has some things they have to do. They have to come up with, and they need to start showing some content. Or
Sony has PlayStation Experience coming up too.
Right.
It's just crazy. I don't know what they're going to show there.
Exactly. Who knows?
It's a wild and wacky time. But yeah, Sea of Thieves still has me excited for Microsoft. But there's still no date on that.
No, and that's not going to be enough. They do need more.
Yeah, I'm only talking about me. I can't worry about everybody else, but they don't have enough. They put in a lot of energy into the Xbox One X. Also, shame on you, Microsoft, for doing a launch event in Nashville and not inviting us.
Yeah.
Because they only did, I think, 3 cities in the U.S., and Nashville was one of them, and we did not get an invite, and they did give everyone that went an Xbox One S. So I would have liked to have been invited to that. Brad Paisley hosted it, which is weird.
That's odd.
Don't think of Brad Paisley and Xbox Ones, but whatever. Remember, if you want to shout out, all you have to do is go over to patreon.com/Gamestitch. Subscribe at the $10 tier, and then you are granted a shout out every single week over anything you want it to be over. If you don't give us a shout out, we'll assign one to you because we want to make sure your voice is heard even when it's not really your voice. Patreon.com/Gamestitch. Anyone that supports us at any tier gets our newsletter. Check your inboxes if you're a patron. That went out last week. It actually went out on Halloween. So check it out.
Check it out.
Follow us on the social medias. I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is at Shirtless Dan. Together we are at Game_Stitch. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that little notifications button. We're streaming. You might miss it if you don't.
That's true.
Just to be safe, sometimes we stream over on Twitch, so you want to go over to twitch.tv/GameStitch. Subscribe over there. Make sure your notifications are on so you know every time we go live. And I can confirm it's pretty quick, especially on YouTube. I said, Howard joined me, and while we're sitting there, I heard his phone vibrate when I started the stream. That's how quick it was.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty quick on YouTube. It is.
So you'll never miss anything. Thank you, Garrett, for joining our live stream. And remember, anytime you see us, jump in, say hi, even if you don't have any time, just to let us know you're out there.
And that you think it's cool.
We'll have more coming. I will be uploading that video. Like I said, by the time you listen to this, you should see the video of me carrying Thomas carrying me, and the win.
And Howard being
super wrong.
All of it went down.
His win doesn't even count. Because he took the credit from you and he gave it to you off air. even though he's never on air.
I'm all right. It bothers you more than it bothers me.
His win has been vacated because of that. It's got an asterisk beside it. It's not a real win. He definitely listens to the podcast every week. I'm excited for him to hear this part. Thank you for everyone that listens. We can't tell you enough, but you're the reason we do this, and the numbers keep going up, which is the way that numbers should go.
Yeah, this is my favorite direction.
We like to watch them get bigger, and your support has been amazing, so thank you. This has been episode 251. Good night.
Over and out.